We're talking about what versus possibilities are left that could actually happen. We're not talking about Jay-Z and Nas because that's probably not going to happen, right? No. We're not talking about Tribe and Outkast because that's probably not going to happen. Outkast, anything's not going to happen. Let's just keep it above. So, who do you think is left out there to possibly do a versus? What do y'all think in the chat too? Who do y'all think is out there left to do a versus?
Mike, do you want to go to like your epic brilliant comment first? Like, because I think that's the best versus matchup. But let's start right there.
Okay, we can start there. All right, so I was talking to Coop last night, and I was like, I got it. I think the greatest versus that's not out there that could be done, that would be the biggest versus, would be Kanye West versus Kanye West. And we're talking about Kanye West, the artist, versus Kanye West, the producer. And he would be so with that. I mean, because it's all about him. We talking about, you got a beat machine over here on one side, and maybe like a record player or whatever, a DJ setup on this side where it's the artist on this side, and, it's the producer on this side. I think it would be amazing. I think it would be great for him to show that pretty much nobody's on his level when it comes to that in this hip-hop shit. I want to see it. I want to see Kanye West versus Kanye West. And I want him to do it without Swiss and Timbaland, too. That's the other caveat.
That's really shady and funny.
Yeah. Kanye earned that.
So, Mike, you want to know what my most striking point? You want to know what Kanye's greatest, stroke of genius may be, Mike?
What's up?
It's going to be very hard for even Kanye West, the producer, to beat Kanye West, the artist, because Kanye West, the artist, gave himself his biggest shit.
I was going to say that. I think Kanye West, the artist, beats Kanye West, the producer.
Most of his great stuff production-wise, Mike, you'll find on the whole of a few albums that we're going to talk about. And outside of that, it's actually legendary B-side stuff. It's not a lot of heavy-hitting home run stuff. And so in order for Kanye West, the producer, to beat Kanye West, the artist, because the records aren't as big and there's much more to choose from, you literally are going to have to pick the perfect songs from his production catalog to beat him as an artist. And that was the most striking thing that I realized today. Because, Mike, do you want me to read down the songs from Kanye West's catalog? And I didn't pick anything after My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. You want me to go right quick?
Go for it. Go for it.
Mike, Good Morning, I Wonder, No Church in the Wild, All Falls Down, Jesus Walks, Through the Wire, Power, All of the Lights, Runaway, Can't Tell Me Nothing, Flashing Lights, Gold Diggers, Touch the Sky, Heard 'Em Say, Diamonds from Sierra Leone, We Major, Crack Music, Two Words, Get 'Em High, Otis, Niggas in Paris, We Don't Care What People Say, Roses, Celebration, Stronger, Gorgeous, So Appalled, The Glory, Drive Slow, Good Life, Good Luck, Good Night.
But you know what? As a producer, I would love for him to play stuff like, Dreams by The Game.
That's on there. Check.
Gotta play that. You got Heart of the City from Jay.
Got that on here. That's a check, Mike.
And Dig Into the Crates, hit them niggas with that I'm Just Doing My Job by T.I. or something. And
Mike, that's not strong enough to beat Kanye.
No, West, it's not, but that's more one of those.
I'm just doing my job, Mike. I couldn't even, I was like, nope, that's not going to work. Mike, this is what I mean. You got to pick some of his, Mike, you got to pick Be All Right with Trina and Luda to win this.
Knock by Monica.
I was actually, Mike, you want to know what he needs to hit him with? He needs to hit him with some stuff that, people forgot about, like, You Don't Know My Name.
Yeah. You Don't Know My Name is Alicia Keys' best song. And he did it.
I'm not gonna disagree with that at all, Mike. You're gonna have to hit him with If You Know, You Know, The Corner.
Ooh, yeah. B is gonna be real heavy in that, like the food or something like that. Mike, obviously, we got to get just to get by, right?
Mike, in order, I wrote down he has to play The Corner, If You Know, You Know, and The Food in order. I got them three lined up together. Like, you got to play it perfect to beat the artist.
What about Get By?
I got Get By on here. Yep. That's what I would like to call a sneaker record people forgot about. That's what I'm talking about. You got to play the stuff people forgot about. You Don't Know My Name. Get By.
There was
Be All
one.
Right.
There was one at the top of my. What about Ludacris Stand Up?
I got Stand Up. I got Stand Up right above the corner. I actually thought that was a good way to get it started. That's actually how I got Stand Up starting up off his production side, actually.
Yeah, Jay-Z
Like,
Encore
the way
possibly.
the way I had his production lineup going is starting off with Stand Up, the corner, If You Know, You Know, and the food.
How do you
Those
feel
were
about Lucifer?
Lucifer's a definite, Mike.
Okay.
That's one of his best beats, actually. Like that's one of his top 20 beats, in my opinion. So like a top 20. Yeah.
Well, if we're keeping it on Jay-Z, I like Brooklyn We Go Hard. I like what he did in that era. I like Run This Town.
I got Run This Town.
Yeah, Run This Town's pretty heavy.
You know what I got? And this is what I mean. You got to pick the right stuff. I got Already Home off the Blueprint 3.
Yeah.
That's gonna slap in the speakers, and a lot of people forgot that's Ye beat.
Yeah, he's gonna hit people with a lot of surprises. What do you think about Let the Beat Build and shit like that?
I got Let the Beat Build right next to Already Home. Glad you said it. It's the beat that I would play right before Already Home. I would go to Let the Beat Build and then Already Home.
Yeah, Kanye West, the producer, is a problem, but I think Kanye West, the artist, would actually beat Kanye West, the producer.
Mike, you right? You might be right. You want to know what else I have? Right after You Don't Know My Name, I got Overnight Celebrity. So here's how I had it lined
forgot
up.
about that. Slow Jams too.
I don't know if Slow Jams is going to do it. Swagger Like Us might do it. I put Grammy Family down with a star.
I love Grammy Family.
Me too. That's one of his best beats for me.
I love Grammy Family.
That's what I mean. You got to dig off into his catalog. Mike, what do you say to new?
What about Selfish? What about
Mike,
Selfish?
I got Selfish down with a question mark because I don't know if it's enough for Ye the artist. But Mike, what would I tell you if I was going to play New Godflow birthday song and click in order?
Woo! Listen, man. All right, listen.
You gotta pick the perfect song. So listen to the records that I'm naming that I would pick against the artists. Like these are like you can't just pick like any old Kanye beat. It gotta be the shit that go hard.
Listen, man. I was in the barbershop today, and people were talking about different verses and who they thought would beat whoever. And when they said, well, who could beat blah blah blah, I think Jay-Z was the person. I was like, Kanye West. No one could be. Kanye West, the greatest hip hop artist of all time. I'm just gonna say it.
So Mike, two things. So when Kanye West would go play Jesus Walks, I would play Bigger Than Hip Hop by Dead Prez because he produced that.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You got to pick the perfect beats just to make this like a matchup against him. And Mike, if you want to like just to have a shot against the producer and Mike, the producer has so much more heat. But Mike, I just read those songs off from College Dropout to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Mike, which brings me to my next point. You know the versus battle that I realized really needs to happen when I pulled up Ye's artist lineup? Mike, you're right. It's Kanye versus Jay-Z. We keep asking for Jay-Z versus Nas. What we really need to be asking for is Nas versus Rakim and Kanye versus Jay-Z.
Listen, I'm going to say this respectfully because I know all these people watch our show. Jay don't want it with Kanye. And
Mike,
that's
you might
just
be
the
right.
God-honest truth.
So
the versatility is too much. It is. And, and this is what I will say. And we've talked about Jay-Z's catalog in certain pockets. And, he was kind of coasting along with the times. Some of the stuff in Jay's catalog is dated. Kanye's stuff, because of how he's evolved over the years, he doesn't have that problem. Would you say any of Kanye West's music throughout his career would be considered dated?
Maybe 808s, but only because so many people have twisted it so
right,
much.
And he probably wouldn't even play any of that.
Mike, he ain't playing no 808s. I didn't even put not one of them records down. He don't need 808s to beat you.
No.
Like, he don't. They ask me what I do and who I do it for. True.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah. I think that if we talking about a versus with Jay-Z and Kanye West, I got Kanye West winning that, and it's not by a lot. It depends on what records Jay plays. But
Mike,
it's a matchup thing. If he goes up against Kanye, it changes what he can play.
Mike, and listen to stuff that didn't make my cut. The games we play, Shy City, They Say.
Oh, you didn't even mention any John Legend stuff.
Like,
Heaven?
actually, I have Live It Up and Let's Get Lifted at the very top. I just don't even know if he needs to play it.
I like
Live It
Live It
Up,
Up.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say Live It Up, maybe. Yeah, but I got it on here, Mike.
I like Heaven better than all of those, man. But I'm a Once Again fan. I like Once Again much better than the first album.
Mike, I ain't bought up Mercy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have a couple of thoughts. First of all, everybody's talked about how regional the verses have been, and you want to know what I think happened? I think because the first big really verses was really regional, which was RZA versus DJ Premier. I think they kind of set a tone, and a couple things happened. So I think they misplayed their hand when they did this, because it's like I was trying to tell you, Mike, if anybody's actually going to beat Dr. Dre, in order to beat him, you have to be a producer.
Right.
And you have to be able to MC at least, or have a catalog with MCs that can beat them. So here's what I'm going to submit to you, Mike. Kanye's the best matchup for all the heavy hitters, because the only way to really beat Dre is one of two ways, and I figured this out today. It's with Kanye's total artist and production catalog put together.
Yep.
You have to be able to take Ye's production and artist catalog, Mike. Or, Mike, and listen to what I'm about to say, and here's where I felt like they got it wrong, and they could have kind of set the proper tone with this, Mike. The real producer versus really should have been RZA versus Dr. Dre, because I realized something today else too. Like, Ye has that all-around catalog. Well, there's only one way to beat like those crisp-ass beats. Grimy ass legendary rhymes and songs. You can't do what he does. You have to offset what he does with your level of greatness. And so, lyrically speaking and classic song-wise, there's nobody close to Wu-Tang Clan. And I think the 25, I picked about 36 songs, Mike, but I narrowed it down to 25, what I think are the strongest Wu-Tang songs, period, through the entire camp, with one star song that I'm going to have close the show. And all of these beats are made by RZA. And he would beat Dre if he played these 25 songs, because it's too much for anybody. And I'm going to tell you something right now. The only people not from the Wu-Tang you're going to hear are Nas and Biggie. Good luck with that shit.
Well, you know, I've always said that if we just talk about straight up tracks, RZA probably has more beats in my top 10 or top 20 hip-hop tracks than anybody. Like, when you talk about like just straight hitting, like we talk about like an Ice Cream. I mean, as much as I, respect Dr. Dre as a producer, and I think he is possibly the best hip hop producer of all time, we're talking about in totality, but I don't think that he has a beat that I would pick over Ice Cream.
No, and Mike, here's something else, and here's why I said this too, Mike. For as much as we love, like Dr. Dre, like, if I'm not mistaken, I'll Be There For You was the #1 record in the nation, period.
Yeah.
The video that played was the Razor Sharp mix, produced by who?
Was that Puff, or was that the...
No, the Puff mix was on the radio. The RZA version was on the TV.
I'm sure Puff will bring that to his verses too. The Terminator says the first verses was Swiss and Just Blaze. I remember that one.
I said the big one.
No. Actually, the first one was at Summer Jam when it was Swiss and Kanye. You remember that?
That wasn't that big. The RZA Primo one was.
No, but I'm saying the first one that they actually did. I remember when the Swiss and Just Blaze one happened on YouTube. Like, I was hyping everybody up on According to Hip Hop for it. And which is interesting to me, because it seems like Just Blaze has been silent during this whole time. And it's like, dude, you were part of the foundation of it. Did they pay Just off or something? Shit. Just doesn't want to do it. They acting like Timbaland and Swiss started this. Which kind of,
So, Mike, you want to hear my RZA lineup right quick that would fade Dre?
Go ahead.
I didn't have time to put it in order, because that's the really tough part. Especially dependent, because Dre got, it ain't like, it's Dr. Dre. But Mike, Cream, of course. Mike, Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. Shame on a nigga. Method Man. Protect Your Neck. Bring the Pain. I'll Be There For You. Shimmy Shimmy Ya. Incarcerated Scarfaces. Criminology. Guillotine. Glaciers of Ice. Ice Cream. Verbal Intercourse. Liquid Swords. Living in the World Today, Shadow Boxing, Iron Maiden, Daytona 500, All That I Got Is You.
I mean, this is heat.
Mike, Triumph, Impossible, Long Kiss Goodnight, Buck 50. And let me tell you how I'm ending the show, Mike, because I got one more record left for 25, and we going to play 26 because 25 lead in the 26, and that's Baby Come On, finished off with Brooklyn Zoo.
All right. Well, he didn't produce Brooklyn Zoo.
That's why it's the extra record. That's why we're doing that 25 with Baby Come On. But once you hear Baby Come On and Can I Get a, you know what time it is, and we're going to go ahead and let Brooklyn Zoo play.
As much as I love every single one of those selections, it's going to matter if this Verzuz is taking place in the streets or at the Rock Nation brunch.
Oh, shit.
And so it's like, in a polished environment, I could see Dre's songs, overtaking that. But yeah, if we talking about on some gritty hip hop shit, that's a tough undertaking for Dre. He's gonna have to play records like Bitches Ain't Shit, like sonically. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he has to play all his sonic best records. Some of his sonic best records aren't his best records. And what I'm trying to say with that is that, like, if he plays Little Ghetto Boy, oh, he about to get his ass ate.
I love Little Ghetto Boy.
You
know what I like too?
My personal favorite song on The Chronic, but what I'm saying is that if he plays Little Ghetto Boy, don't do that. Incarcerated Scarfaces will come on. And
that's just too hard, man. He gonna have to play stuff like Pump Pump, Murder Was the Case.
That's what I'm saying, Mike. You got to play Murder Was the Case, The Shiznit.
Straight Outta Compton.
Straight Outta Compton, Funky Enough.
What's the song on Niggas for Life? Real Niggas Don't Die. Niggas Don't Die. Shit like that. That's
Appetite for Destruction.
Yeah.
You gotta play Deep Cover.
Yeah, some DOC shit.
Yeah, he got to play some of them beats from the DOC album, Mike. Like, he might have to play the formula. Like, he going to have to dig into his stuff about this.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to play, like, some PIMP type stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Wu-Tang brings an element that takes a lot of that. That's what I mean. Like, RZA was the guy for Dre.
You think that's a matchup out there that should happen? I got people in here saying Pharcyde versus Goody Mob. I like that.
Oh, so you want to go to some of the ones that I had? I had A Tribe Called Quest versus The Roots.
I think Tribe versus The Roots should happen. I got Tribe. I want to see that happen.
Mike, no. What I'm trying to tell y'all is that I still would probably pick Tribe. I'm saying it's closer than y'all think. I told you it's more like 56-48. Like,
that would be a great show. That would be a great show. I would love to see that.
Yeah. Scarface, Ice Cube.
I would love to see Scarface and Ice Cube. That would be a beautiful thing.
Shout out to Face. Prayers for a speedy recovery.
Definitely.
Foxy Brown versus Lil Kim, Mike. Show the ladies.
Look, respectfully, you think Foxy got enough records for Kim? I'd rather see, you know what? I want to see the Kim and Nicki, man. I know it's a generational split, and they don't have no real life problems. Ain't nobody. Listen, Kim and Foxy got more real life problems than Kim and Nicki do. Don't get it fucked up. So we're talking about a beef being in the way of it. I definitely see the Nicki and Kim thing being able to make more sense than, the Kim and Foxy. But if we just talking straight records, I don't know if Foxy got enough records for Kim. I say that respectfully because Kim got a lot.
I mean, no. Kim definitely should have the advantage in the matchup, but stuff that I think could be done and we want to see, because that would also both give them some much deserved and due time and shine.
Yeah.
A game that they obviously changed because everybody's doing what they started.
No, that's
real. That's like what Foxy and Kim do is literally how the female rap game works now for the most part. And so I think they deserve a night.
I'm with that. But outside of that, do you think that...
But Kim's going to win. Like, Foxy ain't got nothing for no time.
Yeah. Do you think... How do you think that...
I love Queen Bitch.
Oh, it's crazy. How do you think that the Kim and Nicki would pan out? How do you think that would, turn out?
Hey, Mike, I mean, if I had to pick one female in a Verzuz, like, it would be Kim. Like, period.
Yeah.
Like, whoever would be on the other side, even if I thought the other person was better, even if I liked the other person more.
What? Oh, okay.
What you gonna do when
There's
she
two things. We got two people who we say have the best female catalogs, and I'm with you with the Kim thing. How do you think Kim would fare against Missy in a versus? If Missy just
Mike,
did her rap shit.
Mike, it's not gonna work when that Players Anthem verse come on. Remember the Junior
No.
Mafia stuff? Get Money, Can I Take You Home? Players Anthem remix.
We got people mentioning the Brat. What do you think about the Brat and
Big
Kim?
Shut Up. Hey, Little Kim the Black Erica Kanan, who remains in Chanel frames and Animals of All Kind.
What do you think about the Brat and Kim?
I don't think the Brat has enough after Funkdified and Pieces of Another Tantrum. Like, there's a couple pieces on Another Tantrum that are dope, and Funkdified is a classic to me. And there's like stuff like the B-side with Biggie, so enough, and she could have some run with it. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'd pick Kim if you gave me anybody. Mike, it's too much for anybody. Mike, the verse on Another, on Life After Death, Crush on You, like Mike, this ain't even getting into her later stuff like the Jump Off with Mr. Cheeks, Push Your Lighters Up, the stuff from the Notorious Kim. No matter what people say, how many licks, like, she got a little bit of stuff everywhere. She got stuff for the head. She got stuff for the fellas.
I think that the Kim and Nicki.
No Time might be the biggest like rap song a female ever made, Mike. I don't think people understand that's a rap classic, Mike. Like, is it? I mean, UNITY, No Time. Aren't those the two biggest rap
What you mean biggest? Like charts? No.
I don't even mean charts, Mike.
I
mean
talking about hitting.
Like most memorable record by a female artist, period. Like when No Time still gets played on the radio, Mike.
I love No Time. It's one of my favorites.
No, period. It's epic, Mike.
It's my favorite from her, definitely. But yeah, I think that the Kim and Nicki would break records. So I would want to see the Kim and Nicki, for obvious reasons. I would like to see the Kanye and Kanye again. Reggie says Missy versus Busta. I don't like that for Missy because Busta got the hardcore shit.
But he's too far ahead of Missy, too. Missy's like 97. I don't think people understand. Busta's like 89, 90. It's not fair.
All right, and I like the Quest and the Roots, too. Who else you got?
I got a couple of interesting ones. Like, I want to know what people think about this one because there's been so much talk about how regional it is. What do you think about Kendrick Lamar versus Lil Wayne, Mike?
I think that's not a fair matchup for Kendrick.
Wow.
I don't. Listen, this is the thing with Kendrick. Kendrick has dope albums, and I think we covered that, right? We were talking about the fact that Kendrick has dope albums. But when we talk about individual songs and smash hits and shit like that, he kind of comes up a little bit less than some of his contemporaries. I would rather see, if we want to talk Lil Wayne, I don't know, man. I think T.I. might be his best matchup in that way. Or if we're talking about, but see, Wayne's done way too, like his career, it might be Wayne and Busta, man. I know it's different times, but they have long careers. They have transitioned and transcended different eras. They're very similar in that way. I would like to see Wayne and Busta.
I mean, people don't understand. Like, Wayne, even though he seemed like from a different era, Wayne in like Cash Money only came out like a year or two after Jay.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I can feel you on that. I got a couple more I want to run down to get your thoughts. And this is just me playing around. Ross versus The Game.
Of course, we want to see Ross versus The Game. That needs to happen.
Mike, I got a fun one for the streets, Mike. You're going to love this. Pusha T versus Conway.
I don't know if Conway got enough notable records.
He's creeping, though.
Because Pusha comes from an era where radio mattered. You know what I'm saying? And Pusha got those.
You might have a point. Mike, what do you think about LL Cool J versus Slick Rick?
I don't know if Slick Rick got enough material for L. But the stuff that Slick does have is epic.
That's why I like it, because the stuff that he does have makes it interesting. Because
I still want to see KRS and LL.
Isn't his best at what he does best better than LL's best at what he does best?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's nobody that does what Slick Rick does better than. Yeah. That area that Slick Rick is great in, it's epic.
And so when he's, and there's some effect too. That's some live effect with Slick Rick too. You know what I'm saying?
Somebody said Rhapsody versus any female. What do you think about Rhapsody possibly stepping into a ring in that way? Does she have enough notable records?
I love Rhapsody. I would say notable records is going to probably be a mark that could hurt her depending on which female she was up against. Like if she's up against Muhammadiyah, that wouldn't hurt her. But like if she's up against you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
see, man, listen, I ain't gonna front, man.
I don't know if she has enough just yet, but although I think she's getting there.
Listen, man.
And then, I love Rhapsody. I told you, Mike, if I would pick a representative of an MC from my home state of North Carolina, she would actually be the MC I pick. I would actually be picking her.
I'm trying to sell some tickets.
She embodies like the culture of MCing there to me the most. Not saying she's better than Cole, because I don't think that. Saying she embodies Carolina and the craft of MCing about Carolina more to me.
Listen, respectfully, man.
I can hear the New York influence on Cole.
I'm trying to sell tickets, so I'm liking the Nicki and Kim thing. I'm liking the Kanye versus Kanye. I like the Quest and the Roots. I also I would rather LL KRS if we're gonna go there. I love the Rawson and Game. You don't like that for L? I don't know. I think the L has the hits on his side.
Mike, you just seen what KRS did live. You were there.
Of course. I love the Scarface and Ice Cube too.
I love the Scar. I have in order like my top 3 were your Kanye versus Kanye at number 1, Tribe and the Roots at 2, and Scarface Ice Cube at 3.
And you know what? I still want to see the Bone Thugs and Harmony in 3-6. I still want to see that. But you know what? Bone doesn't want that.
Don't want none of that, man. Don't want none of that.
Obviously. I want to see. Listen, I want to see 3-6 in somebody, but there's nobody else other than Bone.
Pimp C's gone. 8 Ball and MJG, a nice little Tennessee.
Well, you know what would be cool if Bun B and Havoc got together and they did a Mobb Deep and UGK.
I'd be cool with that, Mike. I was just talking to my man Kendrick about the Infamous, and now it's just like I love the Infamous.
Because I think for what Mobb Deep was for New York, that's what UGK was down here on some underground shit.
No, you're right, Mike.
You know,
I have to agree with and echo those sentiments. Both lead artists are,
Is there right? Rest in peace to Pimp C and Prodigy. Is there a matchup for Common? Have we found a matchup for Common? Because we keep talking about all these other people, and I think that's one of the reasons why his placement in the overall scheme of things is so complexing, because who's the matchup for Common in a Verzuz?
Mike, I tried today, and I failed. I really don't have anything else other than that. I tried to place him with somebody, and, we'll call it time constraints, I guess. I didn't have time to find an appropriate placement.
In the chat, let me ask the people in the chat, who would you match Common up with in a Verzuz? I see people always say Mos Def, but
Mike, if you know who from Outkast had a solo catalog, he would be the most appropriate matchup, probably.
Someone said Common versus Talib. That was the first one that came to mind, but in my mind, I'm gonna be honest, Talib just doesn't have enough big records to go against Common.
Big records and notoriety. Because they do some of the same things, and Common's records are just bigger, and he's just so much more well known. I don't like that for Talib.
I heard The Light today. I was like, man, this was a massive record. I found myself rapping the whole thing. Mike, people are saying Common versus Mos Def. Does Mos Def have enough?
No, Mike, I just wrote down Mos Def /3000. So I'm going to give Common some flowers right now. We really can't hold it against him, because the 2 artists he probably should be going against are Mos and 3000, and they just haven't made enough records to actually come play with him. And that's sad, because I think we both think that Mos and 3000 are better MCs than Common.
They're more talented MCs, I guess, word for word, bar for bar. But we have to
they're inherently better MCs, but they don't have the catalog to speak to that.
But we have to give Common the leg up over them, because he actually did the work. He actually has the catalog.
No, absolutely. No. I'm saying the biggest problem for him in the Verzuz right now may be that his 2 most viable opponents or opposition or whatever this is didn't do enough material to actually fuck with him, even though they're inherently like more gifted as MCs.
I'm seeing Thought's name pop up. Would you be more willing to? Do you think it would be a better versus to have the Roots go against Common, or
See,
the
that's
Roots
what I'm
against
saying.
Tribe?
I don't like that for Common because when you're talking about Black Thought, the root stuff comes into play, and this is live. Let's not, Mike. If it's live, you're not gonna bring a live band. So that's why I say Tribe, because Tribe actually has a better catalog than the Roots, and they have Q-Tip that offsets some of the live band, and Black Thought is a nasty ass MC effect. It's a more balanced act.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't want this to sound like too harsh, but if Common were to go against the Roots, like it wouldn't go well.
But what if this became one of those things where, because they all work together, right? What if this became one of those things where they worked it out where the Roots were the backup band for both MCs in this versus?
If the Roots are the backup band for both MCs, it's a more fair fight. Mike, Black Thought is a Rock M Nas level lyricist.
I feel you, but Common has the bigger songs. Does he not?
Better than both of them live. That's what I'm saying, Mike. When you're saying that he's got the bigger songs, like Mike, it's like, let's stop acting like You Got Me is not a big record. Let's stop acting like What They Do is not a big record.
I think The Light's better than You Got Me.
I don't agree.
I'm not mad at that. I mean, it's very close, but I think The Light is
like
a better.
If we're talking like hip hop love songs, we're talking like probably like my 4 and 5 or like my 5 and 6.
Yeah.
But like they've made other stuff like Break You Off was a hit. Yeah.
Give Me Come Close.
Mike, give me Next Movement was pretty dope. Like they've done stuff, Mike.
Next Movement's cool, but you know what? Give me I'm not gonna say that one. I was gonna say Thelonious, but I was gonna go 6 Cents.
Adrenaline, 100% Dundee. Concerto of the Desperado, The Hypnotic, Respawn, React, Push Up Your Lighter, Clones.
I Used to Love Her, Resurrection,
Proceed.
Hungry.
Proceed.
I think this is a good one, actually.
No Pretender.
I think this is kind of like the only. I'm sorry. Come on, let's be real, man. I Used to Love is better than Proceed.
Don't say nothing. Stay Cool. The Star intro to The Tipping Point. The Boom where he does the Cool G Rap and Kane impersonation. I told you, Mike, that's the showstopper. Like that's when, like this is what I'm talking
you started about. On the Roots now.
so this is what I'm talking about the live component to Thought, Mike. One of those records that Common has that's bigger. Oh, Thought gonna snatch that record when he impersonates Cool G Rap and Kane live with a band behind him. Go and give me one of them big records. Snatch.
Listen, I like that matchup for Common where it's the Roots. You got Black Thought on one side, Common on one side, and the Roots are backing both MCs. Like
Mike,
that.
If that's it, let's do it. And we can take that over Tribe because also, too, I mean, and you know, and part of why I picked the Tribe versus Roots things, too, is that the sidekicks aren't there. Malik B and Fife, much like Prodigy and Pimp C, they not here either, Mike. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I like the Tribe and Roots thing, too. I would love to see that. Somebody mentioned Eminem in the chat. Who would you match Eminem with in the verses?
We're not gonna make it to the Rock Nation brunch like that, Mike. I'm not even trying to start those types of problems.
I mean, he
like much like the name of Mobb Deep's second album, The Infamous. We're infamous right now, Mike. In order to make the Rock Nation brunch, we're gonna have to cut some of it.
Okay. All right. Well, all right. Let me look at it like this. Did y'all realize though that they're picking actual winners of the verses? Like I went to Versus Wikipedia page. Long story short, and
what made you do that?
No, actually, my boy Brandon told me. He was like, "Yo, okay. I went to the Wikipedia page for Versus, and they actually are picking winners." And he was like, "Go to it when you get a chance. And anybody out there who's in front of your computer or whenever you get a chance." Go to your computer, go to Versus, and they have all these matchups, and they have winners. They said DJ Premier beat RZA, and they got Ludacris beating Nelly, which I don't have a problem with. They had Jadakiss beating Fabulous. I think it was 5-9 with 2 ties. And then they said DMX beat Snoop 12-10 with 4 ties. So basically, no, all right, so long story short, they are basing these scores off of Billboard magazine, right? And Billboard does these scorecards and they do these breakdowns. And I guess Verzuz is recording these. I don't know if Timbaland and Swiss know that this is happening, but when people look at this in the future, they're going to actually see that there were winners and losers in this thing. And I went to look at the articles of Billboard, and here's the gentleman who actually writes these articles. He looked to be pretty young. I don't see how he was able to even score the Gladys Knight and Patti LaBelle one, let alone the Snoop and DMX. But yeah, his name is Michael Sapanera or something like that. Yeah, looks to be around like, I don't know. He has to be under 25. So some of the songs that he saw that were beating the other songs, I was like, how are you coming up with this? But I think it's problematic that, A, there are winners and losers here if they're not going to call it that night, and that Billboard is actually determining this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what are we doing here? Do you feel like, well, we talk about it. We scored the Fat Joe and Ja Rule the other day. I think that there needs to be a collective poll with something like that, you know, and a discussion to follow it too. Because some of these, when we talking about this Snoop Dogg and DMX one, man, rest in peace DMX, some of these songs just aren't better than the other. And I'm sorry. Like, they had the Shiznick and Get It on the Floor a tie. This guy had the Shiznick and Get It on the Floor as a tie. There was another one that was very, very problematic when we talk about, I think it was the It Ain't No Fun. He had It Ain't No Fun losing to something crazy, man. I'll find it. But yeah, man, I was like, I didn't realize that they had winners and losers in Verzuz. I don't know if they should. I think that's just something for people to talk about. I think in certain situations it was clear. Like, it was clear that the Lox outperformed the Dipset. But for the most part, it's a celebration, man. And I think that if Common and Black Thought did it being backed by the Roots, man, that would be a celebration. Did you have any other ones that were like ones that you think should happen?
No, Mike, that's about as far as I got as far as the day. I was just throwing some things out, some more viable than others. I kind of like had those top 3 highlighted because I feel like those are like viable.
Okay, so we got,
because here's the thing, man. If you call Kanye and was like, "Hey, Kanye, we want you to go up against yourself in a versus," he would do that shit.
He would do it. That's why I think it's the perfect one.
Y'all finally giving me my due. Y'all got me up against me. Finally, how it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
Mike, he gonna be right. Mike, he gonna be right back down here in the stadium.
He gonna do that joint in the stadium with the mask on.
He gonna be like out. He gonna be at the Atlanta. Mike, the Braves about to make the playoffs. He gonna be at SunTrust Park. Big chilling, like, yeah, y'all know what's going down. It's Ye versus Ye, right? Yes.
That is a stadium event right there. Kanye versus Kanye would be the biggest event of the year. I want to see it happen. And please, anybody out there who makes those decisions, go ahead. Take our ideas, fine. Call up Kanye now.
No, Mike, you want to know
Do it for the culture.
No, he can have my money then, Mike. I want to see that.
So yeah, I'm gonna say I want to see Kanye versus Kanye first. I really want to see this Kim and Nicki, man. I think that can happen.
I mean, if you think it can happen, I don't think it's gonna happen, Mike.
I want to see the Scarface versus Ice Cube.
They really love and respect each other. That's why I think that's a realistic possibility, and it gives like people from another generation to like hear 2 authors of like the gangster rap genre. Like these are like authors and forefathers at this point, and they made some epic stuff.
And like, you know, I said this last show. And you know, I don't know if you listened to this the newest T.I. interview. He talked about a whole lot, man. It was a DJ Scream and Big Black. Yeah, he was talking about a whole lot. he basically said he's done with the game. This album's gonna be his last album. I truly believe him because he said, man, he just don't give a fuck anymore. He don't care about trying to be this, this, and this. He set out to do what he was gonna do. He did it, and now it's time for other people to do it. But I do think that T.I. needs to just go ahead and answer the Busta Rhymes call. There's nothing else out there. If he's not gonna go against somebody else in the South, you got the Lil Wayne out there. I wish it would have been him and Ludacris instead. Maybe him and Rick Ross. That probably would be cool. But if he wants to take on a New Yorker, there's not a New Yorker left for him but Busta Rhymes. And especially since Busta Rhymes actually called him on it.
I mean, if 50 were to like circle back around and like accept T.I.'s challenges, well, everybody's like, well, didn't T.I. duck Busta? And I'm like, well, didn't 50 duck T.I.?
50 duck T.I., yes.
I mean,
because he's not one of those people that didn't say he wouldn't do a versus at all. He was all down with doing the verses until he got called out by T.I. I don't know if he feels like T.I. isn't on his level. Again, I don't see how he would think that because T.I. came out before him and was making records after him. I think both are great artists. Same thing with this Puff and JD thing. It's like JD was making hits before you, while you were doing it, after you were doing it. So, it is what it is. But yeah, I want to see the Puff and JD too, by the way. I add that.
JD got that Janet remix in the bag too. Like, okay.
Yeah, I want to see Puff and JD. Well, first of all, I want to see the Kanye versus Kanye. Kanye the artist versus Kanye the producer first.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see Puff and JD because Puff talking mad-ish.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see Kim versus Nicki. I want to see Tribe versus The Roots. I would like to see Common in The Roots. People are saying T.I. and Ross. I would rather see T.I. and Wayne instead of seeing T.I. and Busta. But I think Wayne and Busta might be a good one, really.
I like what you presented with the Wayne and Busta because my thing with Wayne and T.I., although their peaks happened around the same time, volume of material is not the same. And Wayne precedes him by some years. That's why I keep trying to tell people. It's like, I mean, Mike, I remember the Bee Gees album from when me and Wayne are the same age, from when Wayne was 13.
Listen, I think Wayne also changes what Busta can do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if T.I. really changes the trajectory of what Busta's going to play. Because with Wayne, you're kind of going to be forced to stay in the 2000s. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's not going to work for Busta against Wayne. He can't do that. He's going to have to play his 90s stuff.
Yeah, he's going to have to. Disaster Strikes is epic.
It's classic rap stuff. It's what's going to get the crowd to gravitate for him, even if Wayne's hits are more recent and some of them bigger, possibly.
What do you feel like if Busta goes into the woo-ha stuff and then Wayne goes into the Cash Money stuff? Both are very extreme nostalgic, extremely nostalgic, for the people who they're close to. You know what I'm saying? People that are close to that stuff.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So woo-ha, everything remains raw. Put your hands where my eyes can see, bling bling, like the clock is hot. No, like that's all fair game. That's kind of part of what would make it fun is that we would hear like how they've transcended through eras.
You don't think that Wayne has a verse somewhere for Back That Ass Up? They did the high remixes and stuff too.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, no, but it would be interesting because it's like Busta got the like "Look at Me Now" verse. He's got the "Flavor in Your Ear" verse. He's got
Wayne's on that song verse too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and you got songs like Rich Niggas
on the record.
Huh?
I said, and Busta's better on
Busta's
the record.
Busta's the better rapper, in my opinion. I'm sure there are people who would say otherwise.
What year was that? Was that the verse of the year that year? Do you think?
I gotta remember. I don't know what all came out, but yeah, that probably lasted the longest. Like that shit was a standout. Yeah. That was kind of Busta's.
That was his resurgent verse.
Yeah, that was a resurgent. That's the word I was looking for.
It's like, that dude still rap like that on that level? Yeah.